So there's been this age-old question on Mineplex for quite a while now, which is, which game provides the most shards, or which game provides the most XP? And to answer that question, I have simply decided that I was going to test the games to see which is the best. And I'm going to finally answer this question, this age-old question, on which is the best way to get shards and gems for the average player. So to start off with, I actually have played all three of the games that I will be testing, which is Skywars, SSM, and Bomb Lobbers. These are the three games I'm going to be testing because these are normally the games that people say give the most XP output. So I decided that the games I'd be testing would be these three. So firstly, I find Bomb Lobbers. I've always found Bomb Lobbers as a good way to get XP, and to be honest, I've never really decided that I would actually test it against these other two games because I've also played SSM quite a lot, and that's always given me a good XP output where it's been roughly 700 to 800 each game. And then Skywars, it's a bit iffy. I do sometimes get good games where I get loads of shards and XP and gems, but generally I normally find Skywars is actually not an easy way to get shards and gems necessarily, but Bomb Lobbers and SSM are definitely the two games that I would find would get the most shards and XP. So yeah, let's just get right into the testing. So my methods of testing is to play each game for roughly 15 minutes. Now this is only roughly, because if my 15-minute timer runs out mid-game, then I would continue playing that game until the very end to get the stats out of it. So that's why I say roughly. At the end of each game, I would record the XP, gems, and shards earned from the game in order to add them to my documentation of all the stats that I've got, all the wonderful stats from this game. And then after that, I compile it all together and get loads of fun information that will hopefully finally provide evidence for which game is the best to get XP. Also, just a note, rank bonuses and amplifier bonuses on shards and gem hunter bonuses for gems will not be included in this testing. So yeah, if the gem and shard outputs look low, that's just because I haven't included those kind of things into it, because once again I'm testing for the average player, and I would kind of say the average player shouldn't really like include the rank bonuses because yeah, it's just easier and it's fairer testing, to be honest. So the first game I tested was Skywars, mainly because I pretty much knew this was going to be the most difficult game to actually get some good stats out of, because normally what happens, I'll kill someone, I'll get cleaned up, and it's like an absolute nightmare. But the game, I would say, is a medium to hard difficulty. If you're good at PvP and you know how to get around the map quickly to kill people, and you know the strategy for playing the game, then I'd say you'd have absolutely no problem doing well in this game. But for people like me who aren't good at PvP, don't play Skywars on a regular basis, so I don't really know how to get around the map quickly and stuff like that, definitely not a good game to start out on, in my opinion, because it's very difficult when you're up against many people who literally try hard the game to the point they are so good it's like impossible. So I would definitely not recommend Skywars as a starting game. So the stats output, I managed to actually be able to play 3 games within the 15 minutes, and from those 3 games I was able to get 1,158 XP in total. That means I got an average of 386 XP per game. If we narrow this down even further, that means I got around 77.2 XP per minute, which doesn't look too bad. But when we see the other results, you're going to see what I mean by Skywars is a hard game to get good stats out of. As for gems, I got 96 gems out of the 3 games I played, meaning I got an average of 32 gems per game, and then going back per minute, that would be roughly 6.4 gems and shards per minute, which, to be honest, isn't that good, I have to be honest. But then comparing it with other games, it's not actually as low as you'd think it'd be, especially considering I'm not including shards, amplifiers, that kind of stuff into these results. So yeah, that's all the stats for Skywars. Let's move on to the next game I tested. So the next game I tested was Super Smash Mobs. Now again, I would say that it's a medium to hard difficulty, but it gets really easy if you're playing a kit that you know how to play well and efficiently. If you know your abilities well in this game, then you're going to do really well, which is what I found when I was playing this game as Squid. Squid kit is my main kit in SSM, and I do really well with it. I actually won both games I played, and yeah. The only thing I really need to talk about with SSM is the fact that SSM games do take a long time, and you have to be patient to be playing through these games. So if you're someone who's not patient or has a short attention span, then you're not going to get much enjoyment out of farming from SSM, meaning it's going to feel quite grindy, and you might get bored quite quickly by playing SSM to farm shards and XP. But nevertheless, let's get into the actual stats from the game. So in the 15 minutes, I was actually able to play 2 games of SSM, each game taking roughly about 7 minutes, with 1 minute remaining, where I didn't really feel it was a good idea to play another game, because it would go so far over time that it would just make the stats completely unreliable in a sense, because, yeah. It would basically have gone to like 20 minutes of actual total playing time, which was way over what I would have wanted it to be. So, yep, we're not doing that. So, over the 2 games I played, I was able to actually earn a total of 1,772 XP, leading to an average XP per game being 886. Average XP per minute, on the other hand, was 118, which now it should be starting to show what I meant about Skywars being a hard way to get XP. On the Gems and Shards count, I was able to get 148 shards and gems out of the 2 games of SSM that I played. On average, I was able to get 74 gems and shards per game, and average gems and shards per minute was 9.86. So, SSM is definitely a lot better than Skywars at this point, because out of playing 2 games, compared to the 3 games I was able to play in Skywars as well, definitely a big difference in the stats output per game. Moving on, we have Bomb Lobbers, which no doubtfully is the most easy way to get shards and gems, because it is so easy to play. All you need to know how to do is how to hit people with direct hits with the TNT and leap away from other TNT coming towards you. The main aim you want to do with SSM is to survive for as long as possible while getting as many direct hits and kills as possible if you want to absolutely maximize the amount of gems, shards and XP that you get out the game. There are some strategies that I will probably go into in another video. Possibly, if you guys want it, I will happily go into a video on how to play Bomb Lobbers really well. But yeah, I would recommend using the Leaper kit if you want to survive as long as possible. And if you want to get as many direct hits as possible, I would recommend going for the Pitcher kit. As for stats, in 15 minutes I was able to play 6 games, which is a lot more than the Skywars and SSM. This is because the games are much shorter, as it's an arcade game, meaning the games do not last long at all. Out of the 6 games I played, I was able to earn 1,946 XP. Now when you compare this to the 2 games from SSM, that doesn't sound too good. But however, the average XP per game was much lower than the SSM, where I was only earning 324.3 XP per game on average. However, when we move on to the XP per minute, 129.73, which is a lot more, well, not a lot more, but it's more than the average XP per minute from SSM, which was 118. As for Gems and Shards, I was able to earn 173 Gems and Shards over the 6 games I played. Average Gems and Shards was 28.83 per game, and average gems and shards per minute was 11.53. Therefore, to conclude, the age-old question of which is the best way to earn shards, gems, XP, whatever you want from Mineplex, to conclude, for the average player, the best way to do this is clearly Bomb Lobbers. There are many reasons behind this, that the game is very easy to play for new players, and the XP shard output is above the other two games I tested. However, I can't say it's higher than all the other games on Mineplex. I've only tested 3 games so far. But it was generally a lot better. It was closely followed behind by SSM, which was very close, as you saw in the original stats. SSM, if you're good at SSM, I would definitely recommend playing SSM as your way of getting gems and shards, because if you're really good at it there and you can get games done quickly, then yes, it would probably be a very fast way of getting gems and shards. Skywars, which was actually quite surprising, even though I did say originally that Skywars was going to be a hard game to get gems and shards in. However, how low the actual stats were from Skywars was actually quite surprising, considering it's such a popular game. Many people play it, and the mechanics behind the game and how it recently got a rework. I mean, it's not that recent, but I still count it as recent. It was quite surprising to actually see how far behind it was. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Like I said, the stats were considering for what an average player would get. No gem hunter, no amplify bonuses, no rank bonuses on the shards, no XP bonuses, none of that. None of that. Just for the average player. So if you're really good at one game, then I would really recommend you play that game, because it will probably, for you, work out to be the best way. If you want to see me test more games against these stats to see if the games you're playing are actually outputting a good enough shard count or XP count or whatever you want, just let me know and I will happily test the game and make a video on it. Hopefully we'll find eventually, to confirm and end the age-old question, the actual best game for Mineplex XP, shards and gems. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see when I'm uploading next, you can hit that red subscribe button below, and you also have to press the notification thing, because apparently YouTube likes to know that you would want to see my videos twice. Great job, YouTube. Anyway, that wraps it up. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.